Hi guys and welcome to Paranormal Footprints on the Thing Network. Tonight we have Phil and Sara Whyman. Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hope everybody's well.
Yes, very well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's nice to have you.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. Can't wait to get started.
I was saying to Phil before we came on there, it's really strange because I've grew up watching Phil on like the TV, and it's like I was like, but not in a stalkery way. I was like, I've just been watching it. So it's quite surreal to be actually speaking to you now after watching you on like DVDs and on shows, live shows, things like that. It's very
makes me
strange.
sound really old.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've grown up watching Phil on TV.
She's only 20.
I'm only 20, you're fine. How did it all start for you guys? What drove you to the paranormal?
Sarah can go first.
Oh, he always makes me go first. That gives me time to think. It's just something that I've always been interested in. You know, it's just always fascinated me from like being at school, and when I'm really into sort of art and things like that, and I always all my drawings used to be like spooky. And I think from being like a young child, that my dad had a book, and it was called Ghosts Over Britain, and I used to read the book, and it had got some fabulous illustrations in it, and I used to read it on a night before I went to bed, and then I used to have to go to sleep with the light on because I'd absolutely like scared myself reading it. But the book is so good, and I lost the book over the years. But I've recently, in the last few years, managed to acquire another copy of it. So it's quite nice to flick back through images and everything, and kind of remind myself of when I was growing up reading it. So yeah, it's just always been a fascination for me.
That's good.
And you, Phil?
Kind of similar-ish. I've always been an avid reader. I used to go to the local library on a regular basis when I was a kid, and I used to get the books out on things like myths and legends, like werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. And then it kind of progressed onto ghosts and hauntings. So from when I was about 11, I kind of got into reading the books on ghosts and hauntings, and it kind of just progressed from there. Then from about 16 years old, I was doing my own investigations, friends' houses, that kind of thing. And that's basically where everything kind of snowballs, and I got into the Scream Team series first, which was 2002, and then I got asked to be on Most Haunted, which is where most people know me from, and from there met Sarah in 2007.
Glad you got that right there, Phil.
I know, I had to think that. And the rest is history.
and the earphones.
And then that's me, yeah. So there you go, in a nutshell.
So, and it probably went by so quick. I mean, and life does go quick, but when you're enjoying yourself doing something that you absolutely love, because it's like a passion, surely. Well, it is. I mean, when you're 16 years old, you did your first investigation, Phil.
Yeah, and I'm 51 in January.
Wow.
So, because people don't realise, when they see me on Most Haunted, they just assume that I've just been on Most Haunted, and that's where I know my ghost hunting stuff from. It's not. I was doing that a long time before the show was even conceived. So, and the same with Sarah. She's been doing it for living.
This is it, and everybody just assumes naturally that I'm into it because I'm with Phil, and
it's not.
No. In fact,
It's like you're known for one thing and one thing only. They forget that there's different parts.
You came on my investigation, did Phil, and that's how we met. So,
right.
We actually did an investigation at a nightclub in Newark. So we met in a nightclub.
Yeah,
but doing an investigation when nobody else was there. So,
the non-spooky people, where did you meet? Oh, we met in a nightclub. It's just easier, isn't it?
and then to spooky people, it's like we met in a nightclub on an investigation. So,
aye, completely different. Change your story to suit.
Yeah.
What a great way, because that way then you instantly get that connection because you're both into the same thing.
Yeah, she can't get rid of me now, can you?
I know. Regrets it.
I tell you what the weirdest thing is that on the night that we did that investigation, I was filming, and so I've got the whole night filmed, and me and Phil more or less spent the whole night together. We kind of got drawn to each
It's
other.
fate.
So how sad is that I've actually got our first night on film, and I've never ever watched it back. Never. It'd be totally cringe, wouldn't it, if I watched it now? I'm sure.
Can you imagine watching it back now?
I'm on it. Half of me is on it because I put. That's when I was skinny. Yeah, I'm on it then.
Oh, so what kind of inspired you then to then go on and start going and producing your own work?
Oh,
doing your own TV programs.
It's a kind of, I mean, like you guys, we used to do public ghost hunting events. Since 2004, I started doing ghost hunting events, and then Sarah joined me when we met, and we kept getting asked by people, when are you going to do something? When are you going to do your own show? Mm-hmm. And we thought, oh well, we could do, and we just lingered on it for a while. And then Sarah decided, let's get this show sorted out. And she came up with the idea for the show.
It is good.
That is really good. And Sarah, you do editing for that show, don't you? I
do the editing of the raw footage that comes just directly from when we've done the investigation. So I go through all, I wouldn't say the boring bits, because some of it is obviously quite entertaining, but I put it down and then mark off all the bits where there's something happening, or if there's sort of good conversation or something that that's interesting. And then I get all of that and I throw it at Phil, and then he edits it down even further and makes it look pretty and produces the show as you see it. Result. So it's not just me that does it. I just do all the long haul, if you like, in the very beginning.
Because I think generally, obviously, we get to see it as a finished product, but the work that goes behind the scenes to edit that, because I try to edit our videos, and if you ever go into our YouTube channel and watch your videos on our YouTube channel, you'll see that we're not very good at it, right? And it's really, really, there is a word for it, and it's like, like the caveman. So primal videos. I would describe them as primal videos because they're so
they're raw and unkept.
So I like to learn how to make it look pretty, as you said. So I'm quite into this editing kind of thing, because you can only grow, can't you? You can only get better.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I mean, years and years ago, I used, when I had my own little team before I met Phil, and I used to edit it then and patch it all together. And again, somewhere I've got DVDs, because it was back then when there was DVDs, and I've got from when I edited episodes together. And I bet if I put mine on YouTube now, it'd be, oh no, what the hell is this kind of thing? So yeah, you've got to start somewhere. But here's all the fancy bits, yeah.
I mean, I've been editing since I think it was about 2009, wasn't it? I was messing about with it because we used to film some of the investigations we went on, and I edited them together then, and so people could watch their investigation that they'd just been on with us at the time. And then I did we did an episode of a pilot show that we were thinking of doing called Haunted Ruins, didn't you remember? And that was in 2011, so I edited that together. And it's you just keep your hand in, and you just you get used to know what you're doing, and eventually you'll get to be better than you think you are at the moment. So
yeah, well, maybe 10 years time will be fine. I'll be better. Take the time to learn it, but
just stick to it. That's what you need to do.
That's it. Persevere, isn't it?
Exactly.
And play around with it as well. I think you can't break it really, so just play around with it.
Has there been anywhere that you've investigated or been that you've been like very reluctant to go back?
For what reason?
Yeah, for what reason?
Have you been terrified?
Have you been spooked? Have you just not felt right in the place, or?
I don't think there would be any place we wouldn't go back to. There's some places that have certainly given us a scare. Particularly
I think that would make me more inclined to go back if it was that. If it spooked me there.
See, I'm like that.
I mean, when you look at the things that have happened to Jane, there's an episode we did called Wigan House, which is not in Wigan, it's in Cambridgeshire for some reason. And Jane saw something there, and she got absolutely scared witless from it. Not from because the actual thing scared her, but the emotions involved, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so the places like that, we've had some scares, but I don't think there would be no place that we wouldn't go back to, because at the end of the day, that's what we're there for, isn't it? So if something
I get quite spooked. I tend to get quite spooked, but I love a scare at the same time.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me, but please touch my hair. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wanting it to touch my hair, but at the same time, no wanting it to touch my hair. You know, when I'm
like
spooked.
Dale.
You know when I'm spooked because the hood comes up like this.
We were investigating at Alloway Kirkyard. I don't know if you've heard of that in here.
No.
We were in there investigating. It was really funny because Sam's scared of the dark, right?
I'm petrified of the dark, believe it or not.
And we were creeping round the back of this old ruined kirk. It's quite famous for Robert Burns, for the poem. Tam O'Shanter. I don't know if you heard of that one.
Tam O'Shanter, yeah.
Right, so it's based on this kirk. The witches on the night, and so we were in there investigating, and poor Sam, we were kind of getting like voices through the devices saying like the devil, but it wasn't so much that they said devil, it's just because on the plaques all the way round the kirk,
it tells a story.
It tells a story of the Tam O'Shanter poem.
Yeah.
And when we had literally just passed the plaque that had said the emissaries are dancing with the devil. And then it straight away, it literally just came up devil on the device. So of course, and then seconds after that, it came up with Sam's surname.
Oh, did it?
Her maiden. Well, it was actually her maiden name. It didn't say Mizalowski. It said her maiden name. And so that was it. She was just like, oh no. So I ended up trying to take her hand and walk her around the back of this building. But then we didn't know if there was actually somebody actually around there, because all we could smell is the smell of weed, and it was really, really strong. And there was just
somebody in there. They're going to jump out on me.
I'm more scared of people that actually can hurt me, like the spirit. So we were there, I was creeping round with Sam's hand round, come on Hen, you're all right. And I'm saying, no, there might actually be somebody in there. So we're running the graveyard, that was us ended. But it wasn't the last time we went back. It was just very, very spooky that night.
We have some great laughs. It's like we laugh more than anything when we're out. And it's, oh my God, it's you can't help but laugh because it's so stupid.
I think that's important as well, that you're doing it because you're enjoying the company that's there as well, and that's part of the for me. It's a whole package. It's getting out there, seeing a bit of history, and getting into some fabulous places.
Yeah,
and spending time with your friends as well, and it is a social thing as well.
Of course,
bringing that passion of the investigation into it, definitely.
And also, like meeting people like yourselves as well. So, like, you're away down in England, and normally we wouldn't get to speak to you, just meeting you down the local investigation site. Like you just don't just go meet up. So to have all these kind of live interviews, it's really, really good to be able to speak to like-minded people.
It's a great way of interacting and socialising with people you don't normally get to see. So we've done quite a few, haven't we? And we enjoy them. So
yep.
Have you ever been up to Scotland and investigated anywhere?
Yeah. Sarah, over to you.
Oh gosh, we've been right up to Aberdeen. We've spent. How long did we stay at Leith Hall?
About a week, wasn't it? At one point.
Yeah. Where else? We've been Edinburgh. We've done the vaults and Mary King's Close. We actually got married in Scotland as well. In a
house. Did you?
We did, yeah, we did actually.
Wow.
Cumlongan Castle.
Cumlongan,
got married just over the border in Dumfries and Gallow.
Oh, that's not far from us.
That's not far.
Yeah, it was a great time, wasn't it?
It was,
fantastic. We love Edinburgh. We tend to do Edinburgh quite a lot. We quite enjoy it. There's always something else to go and look at and something else to investigate, because there's never enough time in the day to fit everything in.
How far away is it from you guys then?
About 90 minutes. Well, just over 90 minutes. So
that's all right, isn't it?
But it's quite a straight journey for us, because we've got a route that just takes us straight through Edinburgh. It's absolutely fantastic. We love it. We've had that much activity being there. So we have, but going back to Are You Haunted, we'll go back to that kind of thing. So for people watching, can you kind of explain to us what Are You Haunted is as a programme? Because there's some people that might not have watched it.
Yeah, Sarah can do that because it's her show.
Poor Sarah.
You're getting on, aren't you?
What I wanted to do, because everybody, like Phil had said, they kept saying to us, why don't you guys do a show? And you tend to find, or certainly back then, I guess now it's a little bit different, but paranormal shows just seem to have the same sort of running format. And I thought, well, it needs to be something different to make it sort of stand out from any other show that's out there. And I kind of sat and thought about it, and I've got this idea that had been whizzing around in my head. I think it was about 2014, and then, like Phil said, it was a good few years before we actually went ahead and did it. But it was going right back down to basics from when I had my original team, which were just a team of friends. What we used to do is we used to say, right, everybody see if you can find a location, and then we'll bring them all together and we'll say, which one out of these locations have we got, do we think is worth going and having a look at and investigating? And that's where it sort of stemmed from. So at the beginning of our show, we're basically all a bunch of friends. There's obviously myself and Phil, and then there's our son Ben that's involved in it as well. And then we've got Jane, Dale. We had Tim, but Tim left to do his own projects, and then Wayne came on board, who's obviously another good friend of ours. And we just sort of like said, right, go out and find a location. We have 3 locations that we say we bring to the table, and then the team must then decide which one is going to be investigated on the show, and then we go off and do it. So that's how the sort of concept is, and I'll let Phil tell you a little bit more about how we investigate.
I love that concept when you're all around the table and you bring out all the files. I love that, the fact that you all read each other's picks and then you all go for the one that you're drawn to, basically. But I like the idea that it's an individual choice. So it's not just you will go and investigate this, you will investigate that. Yeah. You actually get, like, it's like a personal thing as well.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, even people that bring one of the venues quite often change their mind about doing somebody else's venue instead of theirs that they've brought to the table. So that's always good.
Exactly. Dixon's asking how Ben's getting on.
Oh, he's loving it. He's at university now, so
yeah. She's like, how's he getting on at uni?
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's properly settled in, and I've texted him earlier on, said, what are you doing tonight? And he's going to student union or something like that, having a night out like we do. So he's living the uni life. Let's say.
Brilliant. And how I was going to ask, because of the Ben, how does it feel having your actual son coming out and doing investigations with you?
It's good because he's grown up with it. You know, he's grown up with his parents, so it was kind of only natural and great that he was involved in it as well. So, and he loved it. And in fact, one of the first places, ironically, that we took him to was in Edinburgh, and when he was only, crikey, how old was he, Phil, when we first went? And we just went on a trip, just the 3 of us, not a spooky one, just literally as a family. Because at that point, I'd never been to Edinburgh and I wanted to go. Yeah. And we took him down Mary King's Close, and we did the little ghost tour that they did there. And of course, there's at one point where they just turn the lights out complete, and it's pitch black down there. And they do this bit where I think he whacks a walking stick on the side of a crate, and it makes a bang, and everybody screams. And Ben was just like loving it, even though he was really young. But the one thing that freaked him out was the plague doctor that's down there, you know, with the big long nose.
Sam doesn't like the plague doctor.
I'm not a fan.
He actually, when he came of age to be able to have a first tattoo, he actually got the plague doctor tattooed on his arm.
Wow.
At Mary King's Close. So
we were at Mary King's Close as well, and I actually said to Shelley, go over there and make sure there's nobody standing in there that's going to jump out on me, because I thought it was maybe like a jump scare.
Yeah.
So I says, please don't be a plague doctor, please. Petrified, cannot even look at them. Scares the living crap at me.
In fact, he even had his Halloween costume just this year. He went out and got the plague doctor outfit. So
wow, so he's totally conquered his fear anyway.
Yeah, but
not scared anymore.
He was coming on some of the public events with us, wasn't he? When he's about 14, 12, something like that, wasn't he? So, yeah. He's been doing it for a while.
I never realised there was public events that were allowed teenagers at that age. And I always thought it was more for like older children, because my daughter, she's 15 and she would love to go in one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
it
we were
depends what
running
the
the
insurance
event, so
policy is.
it was up to us really for him to come along. So we just said, you know, he's quite a sensible lad, and I think he was probably, for the first public one, he was maybe about 14, 15, I think. Private one, maybe a bit younger. So.
Brilliant.
What did you think of Mary King's Close?
I love it.
Yeah,
it's
great.
quite surreal, isn't it, when you go under and
absolutely fascinated by the fact that these streets are underground. It's just
I know. Did you go into is it Mary's room? Is it Mary's room?
Emma's? Is it Emma's
Annie's room.
Annie's room, the little girl's room with all the
with
pennies
the
and
toys.
dolls.
Yeah.
We were in there and we did actually, we were standing, there was two groups, so they put one group in first because it's only a small tiny room. They put a group of people in first and then they brought them out and then they took the next group in, which was ourselves. So we were standing there, me and Sam were standing, we were back to the wee square window at the wall, just beside the door. And I heard, and I felt, I heard this like a sigh, as though they say they're here again. You know, that kind of sigh, like, right, here they're back in my room. And it was so funny, and it did feel like it was a female. And we were booked in to do an overnight at the vaults, an overnight investigation at the vaults. And for us, for myself anyway, that was more realistic to me than anything that we did experience in the vaults, because the both of us heard it, didn't we, Sam?
Aye, because we both sort of turned at the same time, and I was like, what was that?
And there was absolutely nobody behind us. So for us, we were only going in there just to kill time before we did the vaults. And it was actually really good that we felt that, because we didn't expect it.
The vaults was good as well. It was Nedry Street vaults with Old Ricky. So it was the one like the stone circle, because a lot of people get confused with all the different vaults.
Yeah, is that coming off of yourselves? Or? That's it.
I can't hear it.
What's that?
No. Everybody gets confused about the vaults because there's 3 different sets of vaults. They all run like concurrent with each other. But we went to the one with the stone circle, and I think, was it Mr. Boots's room we were in? And I went cold. I went cold on the left-hand side, and I just happened to turn my head like that, and I could see somebody peering over my shoulder, and there was a psychic, like medium, about five or six like people up in the circle, and he said, there's someone standing at your left-hand side. I was like, I can see him. I was like, I can literally see him. He was like looking over my shoulder, is like peeking round at me, and I'm like, hood up. Don't look at him. Don't look.
There's one where there's a like a nightclub or something directly below it.
That's that one. Yeah,
that's that one.
With the stone circle, there's a grate, and if you look down, you can actually see into the nightclub.
I'm going to have to come out, guys, because I'm not hearing you right. I'm getting a lot of interference for some reason. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so I'll be back. I'll go out and come back in.
Okay.
But that's the one that's got the nightclub underneath it, so you feel all the vibrations under your feet. So all you hear is like thud, 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 and you think, oh my God, what's going on here? But that's where they had the pagan circle, and they also had like the pagan temple. But that all got closed over now. They don't have it in there anymore. Here's Sharon. Here's our. Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
This is our medium on the team, Sharon.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
We were just talking about
backstage. It's fascinating to see your journeys for the start. How is it working together? Do you find your connection stronger when you are working together?
No, we just argue.
No, we just argue.
Hello. So I pop out and Sharon pops in. Amazing. Sounds a lot better. I don't know what was happening there. So much interference. I couldn't hear you at all.
I was just explaining that Sharon's our resident spiritualist medium on the team. So she's quite good. She misses nothing.
No. And it's good that you came and joined in tonight as well, Sharon.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to hear listening to you as well.
Excellent.
I just wondered, see with your experience, do you still find every investigation you still learn new things?
Oh yeah, all the time. I think the fact that we are kind of close friends with each other helps as well, because I think the kind of vibe is their kind of thing. So
you need to gel, don't you? You need to have that sort of relationship with each other. It does not work if there's.
This is it, and it's a trust as well, isn't it? Of course, it's that kind of, but
Definitely.
I think that's one of the things for me was we did obviously a lot of years doing the public events, and when we kind of took a step back from that, and we didn't want to take a step back from the paranormal because it's something that we both love doing, and it was just nice to be able to come together with friends and bring it back to what it used to be, really. And certainly for myself, what I used to love doing, and that was just going out as a little group with your mates and having a good night, and that's what we do, except now we film it, and of course we've got all that sort of the banter and the bickering and everything else that comes along with it, that's part of the show.
Just makes it more real, doesn't it, as well? It's like when it's just your own personalities, doing your own thing and just being yourselves, then it becomes more natural when it's portrayed to the public, really. I like that.
Yeah, and because we all know each other and we've known each other for years and years, we can all trust each other as well. So you know that if something's happened, then it's a genuine thing and it's a genuine occurrence.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
You've got to know your team, haven't you? You've got to have that trust, and you've got to have that knowledge that you will be aware if something does happen. You know what that person's like, and they know you. So if something's like out of character or out of the ordinary, then you're going to pick up on that. You're going to know.
And know how to deal with it at the same time.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, we know, for instance, we know how Dale's going to react if anything happens to him. We know how how Jane's going to react if anything happens to her. So
I'm just reading the comment.
Oh, right, yeah.
Spiders.
They were all over the ceiling. I do remember now that you've said that. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was crazy. Hate spiders.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a spider fan myself.
I think I shared that in our group a few days ago about give me a room full of hot ones any day of the week, but just one spider and I'm away. That's it.
Cave spiders.
They were just bizarre. They were all over the ceiling, and you had to like stand in this room with all these spiders over you. Were like, nope, I ain't going in there.
No. That's like celebrity get me out of here, isn't it?
That's when you put your hood up. That's what you were on about earlier. That's when my hood goes up.
Yeah.
That was like Shelley at Sanker. She was wanting out of there as soon as she was going up hills and over fences.
Shelley's no good with heights or anything like that.
Nah, no good with heights. No good with spiders. I mean, Sam's no good with the dark. We've got a great team.
Yeah.
I'm terrible, but I push myself.
Do it.
I do push myself, and I make myself do it.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's the adrenaline rush as well, isn't it?
The adrenaline.
Yeah.
Great.
Definitely. I usually have a few choice words.
Oh yeah, Sarah's good at that.
It just comes out.
It's natural.
Aye. You know when I've had enough because I'm like, oh, F that. Oh no. F no. F that and F you and F this. I'm away.
Again.
That's when you kind of have had enough. That's when you know Sam's had enough. She's away.
It was so funny because the last time we went in an investigation, there was myself, Sam, and Lois, and we took a couple of members of the public out, and that was at Halloween. And we were in the bottom of this kind of castle area. And Lois, when we went to that part of the castle, we weren't really getting that much activity. And God bless wee Lois, because she did ask for something to happen, but only to her. And at that second, a bat flew in the window and started flying about the room.
It went straight for Lois.
She was terrified of bats. So funny. We were laughing.
Oh, not what you want.
No,
Like, I know I wanted something to happen, but don't make it a bat.
I'm actually surprised that Sam didn't drop a few of the bombs at that point in time because, and I just stood up against the wall like that, like, you can't see me, you can't see me. There's no coming. So, well, I was doing a wee bit of reading, obviously, on the run up to We're Live, and it's not just like TV programs you've done. Am I right in saying that you've wrote a book as well?
Yeah.
Have you wrote a couple of books, I think?
I've written one, which has been published. It was back in 2007, and that was Paranormal Encounters and Investigations, or something like that. I think it was Paranormal Encounters and yeah, something like that. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, 2007 that was. And but I've got an interest in writing. I've had an interest in writing for ages. I used to be the kind of resident skeptic, if you like, on Chat Is Fate magazine for 10 years, which I did on a monthly basis. But yeah, I've got a couple of fictional stories that I want to get down. So non-fiction, no fiction stories. Yeah, fiction. Yeah, I want to get some of those written. So you never know.
Oh, what the future holds, eh?
Well, you never know. Hopefully, I'll make loads of money and then I can retire.
What about you, Sarah? Have you any desire to write any books? Because it seems to be the done thing. A lot of people seem to be writing books on the paranormal. It just, I've noticed this.
I'll be honest with you, Shelley. I don't have time. Because I do, all the editing and everything, and I do. I look after like the social side of Are You Haunted? So I do all the social media pages and things like that. So I'm trying to cram writing in as well. It'd be just too much, I think.
But you're absolutely fine because you can just leave Phil to do the stories. You can just he can do that. You can just reap the rewards.
When she's not cracking the whip.
Hurry up, get that book wrote. Hurry up.
When she's not cracking the whip, getting the editing sorted, like.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I suppose.
By the way, if you can hear a weird noise, it's our dog is behind and he's snoring, and he's like, I keep having to think I'm going to have to give him a nudge or something.
No, you're fine.
He's snoring away.
What side do you prefer, Sarah? Do you prefer being behind the camera or in front of the camera?
I'm not bothered either way. I like to. We all film ourselves anyway. So, but yeah, I'm quite happy to do either. Don't mind.
How do you feel about lone vigils?
They're interesting.
Have you done any yet?
Pardon?
Have you done any yet?
Yeah, I did. I walked around the what was it, Ross Tiger Heritage thing by myself, and it was like a fishing heritage centre.
Yeah.
And it was like a little bit of a maze. And
you set the thing off, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
The wind turbine thing.
Mannequins, and we've got blooming, those sou'wester things on, like from the fog where they've got that. And there were just like loads of them in there, and I was like walking around on my own. I thought if one of them moves, I'm straight out of this door. There's a bit that you walk around, and it's supposed to be like because it's all to do with fishing and everything. So you walk into this bit where it's all like snow and ice scene on this deck of this boat. And what I didn't realise when I walked in there, that there's a sensor, and it set off all this really cold ice blasting wind, and the fans all went off, and I was like, oh my goodness, but it was just like me.
I bet you didn't say, oh my goodness.
No, you can't hear what I say for the fans, which is pretty good, really. Didn't have to beat
Didn't have to edit that, did we?
What about you, Phil?
What was the question?
Lone vigils.
Lone vigils, and no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I tried to avoid that one. Yeah, well, I don't like doing lone vigils purely because, like you, I've always had a fear of the dark since I was a kiddie.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, so I tend not to get involved with them, but I do the odd one or two. That rhymed, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. When
yeah, when she makes
I would maybe do it, but my eyes would be shut.
Yeah.
I'd have my eyes shut.
Whatever's there touching you or anything, does it?
No. It's the fact that you can't see. If you can't see it, it's not there.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing I think about, yeah. So
I can't see it, so there's nothing there.
I've always had an issue with it. I used to, when I was younger, I used to run through to the downstairs toilet because you have to go past the stairs at my house when I was a kiddie. And I always think it was something up there at the top of the stairs looking at me. So I used to run past the stairs without looking straight to the toilet and come run back out again.
Right.
Very weird.
I'll no run by a bed that you can see underneath in case somebody grabs your ankles, things like that.
I don't sleep with my feet out of bed in case something grabs them.
And the head under the covers, so I can't see what's going on in the room.
Yeah, well, I can't do that. Can't put my head under the covers. I get too warm. This is my problem, you see. I get too warm and then don't put my feet out of the bed.
Because somebody touches them.
Somebody grabs them, yeah.
That's mad.
I'm a bit like that. I'm wrapped up like a wee cocoon.
Well, that sounds like somebody I know. Sarah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny how your fears play on, don't they, when you get older, how they stay with you.
Yeah. She just wraps a blanket underneath her and that's it. You can't get anywhere near her.
Wrapped up like a burrito.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. He's there with the window wide open, so I have to cocoon myself under the quilt.
Keep yourself cozy. So in your team, who's the most? Who's the biggest scaredy cat in your team? Every team's got one. Who's the one that likes?
Without fail. Who is it, Sarah?
Dale.
Dale, you've been out.
Dale just he screams at the slightest thing, literally. In some of the episodes, you wouldn't believe what comes out his mouth, and considering it's supposed to be a paranormal investigator, he jumps a lot. That's all.
That's a bit like me.
Yeah, he's just a right scaredy cat sometimes.
I love it. I love that adrenaline when something happens and you're just there sitting there frozen to that spot because you're terrified. But I just love it. I love that feeling, and you're always wanting it to happen. Because I've lived in a house with really, really bad paranormal activity. It was like poltergeist activity. Things would get ripped off our ceilings and doors would be slammed open and stuff like that. And I've always looked for that one time that I could feel that, be in that position where I could feel that again or experience that again. That's what drives me on in my kind of quest in paranormal investigations, because I just love experiencing that. And because I've experienced that, nothing really, really gets to me as much, because I just think like something really big has to top it to beat that time with that life. And I stayed in that house for 6 months, endured all these kind of things happening, terrified at my wits. I still stayed there. I don't know why I did that, but I crave for that.
Who's in
Jared's
the house now?
saying that he had to sleep with his 70-pound pit bull, not because he was scared, but because
I just want my alarm
with me, just in case something came home with me.
Oh,
70-pound pit bull, crikey!
Oof. That'll take up some room in the bed.
Yeah. So who lives in the house now then, Shelley?
do you know what? I don't actually know. I know where the house is. It lies in a ley line, Phil. It's a private owned property, but it was a rented accommodation, and I was living there with my friend, and it was severe. We're going back now 25 years ago.
Crikey.
I know, and I've always wanted. In fact, I'll tell you, we had a guy called Derek Ogilvie come to that house.
Oh, I know Derek, yeah.
He was almost haunted, wasn't he? He came to that house that night and we spoke to him, and he took us round about the house and he was telling us who it was, and it was just an old man. Yeah. So after that we weren't as terrified, but the stuff that was happening in that house was extreme, and I've never experienced anything like that, and I've never heard anybody else experience anything like that I could speak to normally. But obviously you watch it on the TV, so you know that you're not alone in that kind of thing. And he kind of backed up a lot of the stuff that was happening. And the guy apparently that was kind of doing all this stuff, he was pretty much trying to tell us stuff that he didn't like the change And obviously the way she'd done her house up, and obviously sometimes with the state of the house with the wiring and stuff like that, it was unsafe. So he was kind of warning us, and that was the only ways he could use to warn us. But some of it was really extreme. You know how like you go through a set of stairs, you go through the front door, you go up a set of stairs, there's a landing and the light shade is quite high up, and then you walk up to the right and you go up another set of stairs. The ceiling's so high that we would need ladders to reach up to get the light shade. And one night we were sitting in the living room and we heard this noise and we jumped up. By the time we got to the living room door to get to the hall stairs, there was a light shade. The light shade had fell to the floor at the bottom of the stairs. We got to the door, the light bulb had went out. My friend ran upstairs to see her daughter. Her daughter was in the cot and she was trying to get the covers off her face.
No, they went out of there.
Aye, and then the next morning when it was daylight, we looked at the wall all the way down the stairs was zigzags. So whoever's this spirit has obviously took that light shade, yanked it off of the bit that it was meant to be on, dragged it up and down the wall and threw it to the bottom of the stairs. It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. But again, that was just one episode. And so it was kind of continuous over the course of time. And I probably won't experience that again because that guy was trying to warn us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to.
It's a wee weird thing, isn't it? It's like, even though it terrifies you to like fear to move and stuff, you still want to experience it.
Aye.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting the chills talking about it, really.
Because you saw something, didn't you, Sarah, at the RAF base?
Yeah, that was years and years ago. I mean, this is going back to probably about 2000. When would it have been? 2003, 2004, and it sticks in your head, doesn't it? I can still see it as clear as anything now. It was back when I was doing an investigation with my own little team, and just randomly, it was like pitch black in the room, and I was randomly just taking photographs around the room. And as I took a photograph, the flash lit the room up, and in the light of the flash, there was a man in front of me. Not right in front of me, thank goodness, but he was like in the corner of the room, and he was like walking. So it was like a side profile that I saw of him, but it was a solid figure. And it was cool. I could see the colour of his skin and the colour of his
I love that.
What he was wearing and everything, and I can still see it now. And because I'm quite a skeptical person, and I try to rationalise everything, and you're looking at the background, what's in the room, and is it possible it might have been something else, and I've made it look like a man, but there was just no chance. It was 100%. I saw a man, and I can't explain other than it being the spirit, a ghost, whatever.
I think the one that we were lucky to do an investigation at Derby Royal Infirmary before they knocked it down. So the old Derby Royal Infirmary, and what that experience you had there was completely strange.
Yeah. Again, it was a solid figure that I saw there. We, in a hospital, we tend to have these really long corridors, and you've got like wards that go off. And we were right at the very top of the corridor, and it was a public event. And myself and my friend were team leading, and we'd got all the public group, the little group that we got with us. And we'd gone into the children's ward, which was the very top one. And because it was the top, the door actually faced down the corridor. And as we shut the door behind us, and it locked, and we didn't realise that it actually had an automatic lock on it. And it was one of the, that you put the key code in to be able to open it again. And we were like, oh Christ, we can't get out of it now. So we got walkers, and we were radioing down to security to say, what's the code to get out of this room? Should we need to? And as I'm stood sort of on the radio, just chatting in front of this doorway, looking down the corridor, I looked down, and when I looked back up, there was a woman stood on the other side of the glass looking through the door.
No!
Literally on the other side of the door. And she was like, when you just can't speak because something is so shocking in front of you. And I grabbed my friend by the shoulders and I pulled her into the front of the door, and she saw her as well. And that the fact that somebody else saw her.
Validating your experience.
What did she look like?
She'd got sort of like a shoulder-length hair down to here. It was dark hair, and she'd got like a fringe, a bit like, you know, like Dawn French kind of style.
Yeah.
And it was because it was dark, so I couldn't really see her features that strongly. But she looked like she was just like in like a grey clothing.
Wonder if she was a nurse.
Definitely. Pardon?
I wonder if she was a nurse.
I don't know. She didn't seem to be in a nurse's outfit, but yeah, really weird.
Oh, that's mental. Imagine looking up and seeing it right there. Oh.
It was literally the other side of the glass that she was.
Oh my!
The little window in the door.
That was quite similar. Oh, sorry, Sam.
No, you're fine. Go on.
That was quite similar to when we lived at that house. Once Derek had been and kind of explained to us what was happening, what that spirit was. He did tell my friend that this man will show himself over the next few days, and sure as fate, he appeared in the little square window at the other side of the square window. She saw him just a few days later, so that was quite funny, and that was the only time she did actually see him.
Bye.
I don't know.
That'd have been me. I'm out of here. See you later.
I would have been away too. I wouldn't have slept in that house ever again.
Well, it's funny that because the man, see, one of the first nights I stayed there, the man actually grabbed my shoulder. He put his hand on my shoulder. And I says to her, was that you? No, she's over that side, big double bed, because I'd been watching the lights swaying. And I thought, and I knew instantly before she took that house, I says, that's a house of horrors. I says, that is a house of horrors. And I swear, I've never experienced anything in my life before that. I don't know. Aye. The minute we walked in that door, it was just activity. I wish I had a mobile phone at that time and I had all my equipment to be able to record that. I would give anything to be back in that house to do it.
What's your strangest experience, Sharon? Because you've been really quiet.
Sorry, I'm just listening. Well, I've had quite a few, but basically my daughter, she's very spiritual as well, but she finds it hard. She sees a lot in here, a lot of spirit energy around me in the house. But one of the strangest experiences was my sister was actually sitting, and she isn't open to spirit, but she actually heard a man's voice speaking to her in this house. And it was just, I knew and I felt and I sensed, but I felt it was someone very close to us. It was my grandfather. And as I turned round and I could see that energy of him. And it was just, that was one of the strangest experiences for me, but it was a calm, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was, as much as I was happy to see him, but I just felt that overwhelming calmness.
Yeah.
And another was a couple of weeks ago, what Shelley's saying in the window. I actually went to one of the castles that's very close to us here. And I felt the spirit energy in the place, but I had just done drumming to drum up the energy, just to feel and sense the energy. And when I done the drumming and after I took the pictures, I could actually see what you were saying, the images of the spirits in the windows.
Yeah, that was really clear as well, especially when you went back and looked who it was.
Definitely.
And to be able to find that, I knew who he was, but it was just to be able to put the two of them together and show that. It was it was really good. So we're all going back together because hopefully we'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
When we're all together, our energy's like incredible.
It's so high.
Crazy.
And that was like Shelley and Sam. We went to Sanka. All of us were speaking and the balls were going off every time we commanded them or every time we asked them to do something. They were just reacting to our voice. And I feel as if it was just because we were all high, we were all excited.
Yeah.
It was a bit like you. You've got to be in the same energy. Your team's obviously very strong together as a friendship, and that's like Shelley and Sam's best pal. I've known Shelley for years. Look, we're all just
we're all connected in some way. It's strange. You just fit.
I think the longer you work with each other, you get some kind of a connection going on, an energy connection or something. But yeah, that's certainly with our team. It's quite strong, isn't it, I think.
I'm currently working my way through teaching them all to drive.
Kelly's a driving instructor.
Right, okay.
I can drive. She's already taught me.
So
I'm over it good. She needs to calm me down or we'll end up getting done for speeding.
Sharon's done.
Does that work if you're trying to teach your friends to drive? I think I don't know if I could do that.
Oh, you can. The only problem we've got now with Sharon is me and Sharon can't stop talking about paranormal stuff, you know? And it's really, really difficult to take your mind away from one to go into the other. So we'll sit and have a blather, and then out pops the driving instructor talking, and then we'll pass that obstacle, and then we'll go back onto the subject, like the mediumship and what we've got to do next and stuff like that. So
that's what we were like. As soon as we found out like we had like a connection, that was it.
When I taught Sam to drive, I was pregnant all the way through it.
Mm-hmm.
So we spoke about that.
Aye.
You obviously trusted her driving then.
Aye, I mean, they're great wee drivers, really. And I'm working on Johnny and Lois. They're next. And I'm also teaching Sharon's daughter as well to drive. So I'm getting through them slowly but surely.
One by one.
Yeah, take it baby steps at a time.
That's right.
Somebody was asking there how long it takes you to edit one episode.
Yeah, that was Gary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, Gary. Hope you're okay, mate. Well, Sarah, I mean, if we put our minds to it, it probably takes Sarah about a week to edit her bits down from. I mean, we must have at least 35 hours worth of footage to go through when we do an investigation. With the CCTV footage and all the other bits of footage, etc., and the interviews and the general shots of the venue. So she goes through all that and whittles it down to the important bits. So she could do that in probably about a week, and then she'll pass it on to me. And then if I have the time to do it, a straight run, I can get one done in about a week.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the time slotting it in
because we're both working time. So
and everything else. So
and you know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
When you get home into it and you think, oh, you got all the best intentions of doing this and doing that, and you get home and you think, you know what, I can't be bothered. I'm so tired. I want something to eat. I just want to go and chill. So sometimes it kind of takes a little bit longer. But if for instance we both had a week without doing anything, no job or anything, we could get it done. It takes Sarah a week to get hers done and a week to get my part done.
It's not just that as well. Of course, we've got the audio because we have the recorders set up around the location as well. So thankfully, we've got Wayne who he sits through and does all the audio, listening to that, because obviously, if we had to do that as well, it'd be just another load on. Because I think
it is time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
It really is. I mean, he likes to tell everybody about how long it takes to do his
9 hours. It took once to go through all the footage. 9 hours. But we have about 5 or 6 Zoom recorders, and we place them all over the place, and they're constantly running. So we have like hours worth of footage that Wayne goes through, and thankfully he goes through that and notes down what the important bits are, and we go through it and pick them out and put them on the show.
Yeah,
that's good.
We're almost at the end of the show, guys, and we really can't thank you enough for coming on. We've really enjoyed it. But before you do go, can you tell the viewers, you've obviously got season 3 coming up. We kind of no talk about that. No. So is there a clue to when that's going to be released for them to watch?
Well, it's a big clue. It's Sunday at 9 o'clock. It will be the first episode is going out, and it'll be a premiere on YouTube to start off with.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it'll be premiering on this Sunday, 9 p.m. on YouTube. Then we'll put it on the other platforms.
Good.
Yeah.
Get watching, folks. You're in for a treat.
That's fantastic.
If it's anything like the first 2 seasons, it'll be fantastic.
It'll be amazing.
We've enjoyed, haven't we, what we've done so far. Some of the venues we've been to are absolutely out of this world. Some of the stuff that happens is absolutely crazy, I swear. But I mean, that it just goes to prove that you don't need to walk around with expensive gadgets and things like that.
Use yourself. You're your own biggest tool, basically. You use your own.
This is it. You can't get any better than this, can you? So
that's it, and I think that's a good another good reason why you sit down and the person chooses the location where they want to go to, because they're obviously drawn to that location for a reason. And so the spirits will become drawn to them as well at the time. So do you feel as though you get more activity just by doing that?
Yeah, I think so. I think because we've all chosen the venue to go to. I think we're all in the same mindset when we get to the venue, and I think that helps. I think, and as we've progressed in doing all these episodes, I think when we get together, we become more open to listening to things and observing and things like that. And I think that gets stronger and stronger as we go along.
Definitely. Well, thanks once again, guys, for coming on. It's been really good having you. Really enjoyed having you on and having a chat.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
I really enjoyed it. Great.
We have, and we can't wait to see you on Sunday night.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So
thanks very much for watching, guys, and I hope you've all enjoyed it, and we'll be back next week. So stay tuned, and remember, Sunday night, YouTube, season 3, episode 1.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Watch it. Be there or be square. Bye, guys.
thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.